Jai Mother. Charanam Sharanam Ramambige, Charanam Sharanam Trayambage. And give me the strength to surrender, my strength to thy will with love. Vidanjali. Here, when recounting our personal experiences, it is but appropriate to mention the nature of the spiritual tradition handed down to my husband by his parents. They had lived a pure, devoted, God-fearing life. His father was one of the most prominent leaders of Travancore, holding a very high position in the regime of that day. His family deity was the goddess Durga. It is said that at a young age, his father had a singular vision of his Kuladevada, Durga. It worked a great change in him, and even in the midst of his arduous duties, the divine influence plunged him into discipline, prayer, and worship. It should be mentioned here that at the time of the visit of the great apostle Swami Vivekananda to Cape Comorin, my husband's father was one of the blessed few who came under the Swamiji's dynamic influence. It so happened that one day Swamiji suddenly visited the house of my father-in-law and remained closeted with him, granting spiritual instruction and upadesh too. My mother-in-law used to recall how after the momentous meeting, her husband had begun the practice of pranayama and intensified his spiritual upasana. He lived to a grand old age. During one of his illness, while in an unconscious state, we heard the Mahavakya emanating continuously from his lips. At that time, I could not understand its great significance. Every day he used to rise at 3:30 in the morning and begin his holy rituals. The solemn repetition of Omkara could be clearly heard in the surroundings. Well versed in the scriptures, he manifested a rare inner atmic force till the very end. The day before my husband came to Madras for the first darshan of Mother in April 1949, his father, though too weak, was still performing Manasika Puja, lying in bed. With symbolic rituals, he finished his worship, silently beckoned my husband to come near, and with overwhelming love and benediction blessed him. The next day, my husband came to Madras. It was only after his actual initiation in April 1949 that the understanding came to him of the greatness of his father's blessing. The first words Divine Mother spoke to him after the Upadesh were, "You are blessed. You have come to Mother with the spiritual gift of your father's prayers and upasana. Now that Mother has imparted to you the invaluable Upadesh, great is the responsibility that rests on you. You must rise high in the spiritual path." The words of Mother brought to his mind the incident of his father's special act of blessing, and he was astounded at the realization of the Mother's all-seeing nature. The Devi he had worshipped took flesh and blood form in Mother, and there was not the least vestige of separateness in his faith. Later, with great reverence, he recounted his experience. All along, I had cherished a feeling that there was no need of a guru to guide me on the spiritual path. The all-consuming devotion for Divine Mother ushered me into a new plane of consciousness. A sense of the matchless splendor of the Guru dawned in me. The strong conviction came that however much of devotion or even scholarship in Shastras there may be, all are of no avail. To cross the ocean of phenomenal existence, total surrender to a perfected Guru is essential, for the grace of the Supreme Guru alone can pave the way. Till the moment of initiation, I had worshipped the Mother only in the dual plane, the worshipper and the worshipped, bound as I was in the tabernacle of name and form. But through the power of initiation, Mother as the Guru led me to a glimpse of non-dual perception. Inside and outside me was the all-pervading spiritual consciousness of the Guru. The shackles of Maya vanished in those moments of rare subtle consciousness. The mind, intellect, all merged in the sublime meaning of the initiated word. By the inner awakening, I knew that before me was the Almighty Parashakti in her dual role of Guru as well as Mother. In an overwhelming mood of surrender, I dedicated everything at those lotus feet without any reservation. Our faith and devotion should be unquestioning and complete. There is no human Guru but the divine Satchidananda Guru who breathes the spirit into the soul. Who else could possess this potent force which can lift innumerable souls who come under her influence? He reminded me of the words of Sri Ramakrishna. What power has man to free others from the ties of worldliness? He of whom is this enchanting Maya, this Maya that offers to man in all ages an enigma. He alone can deliver man from it. There is no redemption without the mercy of Satchidananda Guru. Those who have not attained God, who are not favored with His commands, who are not strengthened with the divine strength, what power have they to unite from His creatures the bonds of the world? The ideal that Mother embodied as the sublimely perfect Satchidananda Guru is clearly beyond the reach of any human personality. And I have to write here how from that moment my husband became a changed person. A whirlwind of supernormal experiences blew through him, leaving their imprint. His faith coming from the depth of his soul about the reality of Devi's advent in this world became the motivating power behind all his thoughts, words, and deeds. That inner awakening and illumination which emerged from the Atmopadesha convinced him till the end of his life in 1970 about the unfathomable glory of Mother. Since then, he strove his utmost to bring as many souls as possible to the feet of Divine Mother. His intellect, which had never bent to anyone, became completely submissive to the compassionate guidance of the Mother. It was amazing how in a second he was able to give up habits of a lifetime like smoking, etc. He used to undertake fasts and sacrifices for self-purification to make himself fit to work for the Mother's cause. Social qualities made him a beloved personage in the circle who knew him intimately. He was accessible to all and had an abundance of wit and humor. But in company with such qualities, he had an excitability of temper, occasioned often by his straightforwardness and open-mindedness. After initiation from Mother, the first discernible change in him was emotional restraint, enabling him to control his temper. He had this temper from childhood. By his sadhana and the Mother's grace, he gradually became equable and gentle towards the end of his life of devotion. Charanam Sharanam Ramambike, Charanam Sharanam Trayambage. Jai Mother.